Jordan Peterson, who I've never spoken about ever in my life, did an interview with his daughter, a podcast with his daughter, and he brought up my brother.
Like, I think pimps of any sort are, I truly believe they're amongst the most contemptible of people. I think there's nothing in, with a pimp is, I've got all these hoes and look at me like, king of these women. And it's like, no, you are the ultimate in pathetic, parasitic predators. There's nothing about that that's heroic. It's just pathetic. Tate serves his immediate self in this like impulsive, gratifying manner. And I think that goes along with his, look at me, I'm in a Bugatti. It's like, fair enough, man.
Dr. Peterson is extremely obsessed over one aspect of my brother's rise to fame and one aspect of my brother's life and his work history, of which there are many. He was very correct when he said that people are very complicated. And credit to him, he might not know much about Andrew. I don't imagine he sits around watching Andrew Tate content. I don't imagine he sits around watching the podcasts and the interviews we do with Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and, all the big guys who we speak to, Patrick Bet-David. Maybe his knowledge is limited, but he's obsessed over this idea that my brother ran this webcamming studio many years ago. Very popular business here in Bucharest. One, I was mainly in charge of the webcamming studio all these years ago, not my brother. Two, I feel like to paint my brother as a man with all his various accomplishments and all of his brilliance as a man who once ran a webcam studio is to not do justice to the story of the life that is Andrew Tate. So if I could speak to Dr. Peterson, and I feel like relations are becoming a little more civil because he stopped calling me names on X, and he stopped calling my brother names on X, I feel like he should know that, yeah, we're not from his world. I may seem like I am. He grew up, I believe his parents were librarians and teachers, and he grew up in this wonderful family and had a good upbringing. Me and my brother are men from the streets. I, at 35 years old, would not advocate starting a webcam studio. But I was once a 24-year-old man. A 24-year-old man with no formal education, no higher education, who was trying to educate himself, who was trying to make money in all the ways that I knew how. And the way it typically worked is I would post adverts on Facebook back in the day for people who wanted to work as streamers, live streamers, and I would find, applicants, and my whole job would mainly be sitting around doing spreadsheets and payroll, and it was a very boring part of a very interesting life. My fighting, my training, my Landry's kickboxing matches being obviously the main focus of our life at the time. We ran a small hotel in Thailand, and we were part owners and shareholders in a training camp. At the same time, we had a small Airbnb business with a few apartments in the Netherlands that we would rent out. And we had all these various things, and we were trying to hustle and make money. Yes, we did make some money from our webcam studio. It's not how we made our money. It's not how we made our massive wealth. Our massive wealth actually came after we'd already sold that business, left it behind, and started putting God first. That's where our real success actually came. So I don't want to go into it in too much detail, but what I would say is to Dr. Peterson, we are not from the same world you are from. Most people who grow up where we grew up to be drug dealers and criminals. We have never broken a law. We've never done anything illegal. Do I regret ever running that webcam studio? No. Do I advocate against the porn industry today? Yes. Or the adult entertainment industry? Yes. I met some wonderful people. It made some money at the time. It kept my head above water. And to boil Andrew down as a man who ran a webcam studio, okay, cool. 5 years of his lifetime, he was slightly involved in this business, which I did the brunt of the work on. To belittle him and everything he's done to just that one thing would be disingenuous, and I believe he's doing it from ignorance, because I believe he's too busy to actually watch all of Andrew's content and know mine and Andrew's story. So yeah, there's much more to my brother than that. And, we had to learn to become gentlemen and civilized people the difficult way. Tristan Tate at 21 or 20 was out, drinking too much, starting bar fights. Well, not starting bar fights, certainly finishing bar fights, hanging around people who were not necessarily the best people, drug dealers, idiots, other kickboxers in my gym that weren't necessarily the smartest people at the time. We'd go out, end up in a fight, get drunk, go home with black eyes, laugh. I mean, that was me when I was in my early 20s, and I've evolved. And I think that Andrew's lesson to young men, the fact that he's lived this eclectic life, and the fact that he's come up the way he's come up, is why he is a shining example to the youth of the world. Excellent cigar.
There's only so much truth I can speak in the public domain. To receive completely uncensored information from me, join my completely free email list.
I can sit here right now as a multimillionaire. I will email you every day lessons from a multimillionaire for free. All it's going to take is 13 seconds of your time. Maybe 10% of the people watching will do it. And 90% will go, hey man, being broke sucks.
Yet they do not join my completely free emailing list.